Hey everybody, it's Rachel with Rachel Q Stitches and welcome to my sewing room. If you are a returning guest, thank you so much for coming back. If you're new here, welcome. It's good to have you. If you've not subscribed, please do so. And if you have, can you do me a favor and leave a comment below and tell me how you found me? I had a little surge in subscribers, so that kind of made me excited this week that I have more people that are willing to listen to my jibber jabber. And so just let me know how you found me. I'm interested how YouTube does things. I'm not quite sure about that. And also if you want, let me know what you're stitching on. I'm curious what other people stitch on. I like watching a variety of YouTubers. I watch those who, you know, maybe stitch very vintagey looking, primitive, reproduction-esque, and to people who are stitching dragons and stuff that I'm not really interested in stitching, but I love hearing about what other people are doing. It really, you know, it motivates me to go out there and stitch what I want to stitch and not worry about what other people are thinking about what I stitch. And so anyway, let me know how you found me. I'm curious. So this week I worked on Thursday and Friday on Pandemic. I got a renewed love for it. I finished my the deer right here. I had to add a third blue at the tippy top right there because I ran out of the other two that I started it with, and then I continued that blue right here, and then I started this, and I was really excited because I emptied 2 bobbins out of the sampler box that I had from the 90s. So that's 2 more DMC colors down that I've put into this stitch. If you don't know, my goal is to use up that sampler box and also to use 1 of every color DMC in my Pandemic right here. And so I got 2 good days stitching in it. Friday night we went to visit my mother-in-law, so I didn't get a whole lot done Friday, but Friday is a day that I try to stay home because I know that Friday night we might be leaving to go somewhere, and so I try to stay home just to get stuff done around the house and make sure I don't, you know, neglect my cross stitching and my house cleaning. So I got a lot done. I was excited about that. And then Tuesday is my Riola's Stitch Along stitch, and I am working on Feline Family. And week before last I got the little arm of the cushion done, the sofa done, and right here. And then what I did this past last Tuesday was I filled in a bunch of just spots that I had that had like 1 or 2 stitches of a color, and so I just went in and filled the little gaps and the little holes. I think I have 2 more that I need to do. And then I worked on, you can see there's some half stitching in a brown, so it's really hard to see when I see it, but on the fabric. But so I got some of that done, and then I'm going to try to start his little head. I was hoping to get his little head started last week, but filling in all those little spaces took way too much time, and I don't know if that's what you call confetti, I'm not sure, but I've decided that I don't like it at all. So I'm hoping to start his little head today, and I think this little part right here is actually part of the wallpaper in the background of it. I'm still enjoying Riola's. I am still enjoying the thread, the type of thread that it is, which is wool and acrylic. It's very fuzzy, but it lays flat. I really like it. I'm enjoying it. So there is Feline Family by Riola's. And then Monday is a mystery stitch along that I'm doing by Linen and Threads. It is Talavera, and February was part 2. And for this stitch I am using thrift store and inherited floss. It's floss that's JP Coates, Paraluster. I found one called Majestic, which had a pretty gold label with a princess on it. So just odd flosses that I have in my collection. So I don't know what colors they are, but I have decided that each little section is going to be monochromatic. So while this section is blue, this might be yellow or green, or I have the colors picked out. So this is part 2 of Talavera by Linen and Threads right here. I am using I think it's a 22 count Ada. I don't think it's 18. I don't have my glasses on, so I really can't tell. But I think it's just from Hobby Lobby. So it's Artiste by Zweigart, and that is Talavera Part 2. Part 1 was the outlining. So then I have my weekend stitch, and I had a lot of plans to do some springy things, some Easter things. You know, Valentine's Day's almost here. It'll be here, what, Sunday? And then Pinkernpunkin came out with more chickens. More chickens, y'all. This is called Roses, Hearts, and Chickens. Isn't this precious? I am not into the prim country things, but just something about Pinkernpunkin's patterns that just, I love them. I love them. And so here it is. I kind of, again, I use thrift store floss, so I kind of, you know, used my own colors. I kind of went by what she had, and then I just, for the little scattered hearts everywhere, I just picked whatever floss I had a right size piece for and stitched a heart in that color. I did most of it while watching the Super Bowl this weekend, so I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And this is what hers looks like right here. So there you go. Pinkernpunkin. And I decided I needed a way to keep track of my whips. Not my whips, my finishes. I like everybody's finish parades. I like their whip parades at the end of the year, beginning of the year, and so I decided I need a way to keep track. I have a little moleskin daily diary pocket size that I keep by the sofa that I write doctor's appointments, but I also write things like what I've eaten, you know, something significant that happened that day, just little bullet points of what's going on. But I also write what I stitch on and what I complete and what when I start it, when I finish it. So I created a little binder for me, and then and this is my first finish of the year, so I put that on there. And then what I'm doing is I'm just basically sticking the pattern in, and I'm gonna have a sheet that tells, and I need to start it now before I forget things, but just a sheet telling you know, what kind of fabric I used, what kind of floss I used, where I got the pattern, so that at the end of the year, if I'm still doing floss tubing, I can do a little finish parade, and hopefully I'll have right around 50 finishes with my weekend stitches. My weekend stitches are things that I can do in a weekend or two. Some of them are a little bit bigger. And I didn't say, this is a 14 count Ada right here, and I coffee and tea dyed it. So that's what I'm using for this. So anyway, so that's what my binder's for. I'm kind of excited about this binder. Hopefully it'll keep me organized, and I'll know what I can do, you know, for that. So new starts. So as if you are part of the Catholic Church or any other Christian denomination, you know that Lent is coming up. Ash Wednesday is next Wednesday. Mardi Gras is Tuesday, which here my husband will be off, but there will be no parades. So he's off Monday and Tuesday just for the sake of being off. I'm not sure if they're having balls and whatnot still, if they were still doing that or what's going on. I don't keep up with Mardi Gras too much, except, you know when the roads are blocked off, where they're blocked off, and where not to go, because they are barricaded, but nothing at all, which is kind of sad. As much as I don't like the principle of Mardi Gras, I do, you know, appreciate that it does bring in a lot of tourists and income and revenue for the state. So, but in honor of Lent, I am starting this. This is called The Names of Jesus. His name is Jesus, and this is by Joyful Expressions. It is a freebie if you sign up for their newsletter. And I had printed it out maybe last year and never got started with it, and then Stitchin' Mommy mentioned that she was doing a stitch along with somebody, and I decided I needed to do this for Lent. So I am going to take every Wednesday in Lent and stitch on this, and I will probably be using 18 count Ada white, and I will go through my thrift store and inherited floss bags and pick out different reds that I like, And so that is what I'm going to be doing. I thought about stitching it in purple, you know, because purple's royalty, and Go Tigers also. And then I decided, no, I really want it in red. I love the color red, and it just, to me, you know, in most Bibles, the words of Jesus are in red. So I figured, how appropriate. So his name is Jesus will be a Ash Wednesday start. My husband goes back to school, so on Ash Wednesday, and so we will be, I'll have the house to myself, and that will be my Monday. So I'm going to start this. I'm excited about it. I'm glad I finally got a reason to start it. So I coffee and tea dye a lot of my fabric, and I decided, my husband drinks throat coat because he is a teacher and he has throat nodules from teaching for so long, and so I thought I need to use those extra tea bags, because every time I take them out, you know, the mug would be stained this really pretty red color. So I got out a piece of, let me see, 22 count Hardanger that I paid 75 cents for at the thrift store. And I grabbed a couple of his tea bags and I let them dry on a tray, just air dry. And then I boiled some water, and I put about 5 or 6 of them in a mixing bowl. And I added this fabric. And it came out very light, and I dried it in the oven, and it came out very light except for the crinkles or whatever were this dark color. So I stuck it back in overnight, and I stuck it back in overnight like at noon, and pulled it out the next day around noon. So it had a good 24-hour soak. And so here it is. This is, here it is. This is it right here. This is one side, and you can see it's a little scrap. This is one side right here, and it's very, very, it's coming out really bright. It's a kind of more of a darker purple than what you're seeing there. And then here's the other side right here. This is the side that I believe was against the tray when I put it in the oven. I think I like this side better. It didn't come out as a vibrant pink as I had hoped. But I'm going to use it. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use it for, but I have a couple of ideas of what I'm going to do. So anyway, and there's a needle right here. Okay. So my new weekend stitch, y'all, I had it all planned out. I had some cute spring things, and I'm going to see if I can find where they're from, by the Sunflower Diaries. There were some freebies on their website, and I'm going to link everything below. But instead, I was on Instagram this morning and preparing my notes for I have notes, hopefully I'm following them, my notes for this video, and Pinkernpunkin came out with a new chart. Seriously, she's going to do me in. I love her stuff right here. It is the Pink House. It is called, hold on, I will get it. It is called Dorothy May's Spring House. So I'm going to start that, Dorothy May's Spring House. All of these are free on her blog, y'all, and I just love them. And my weekend stitch, I kind of subtitle freebie stitch, because usually I end up stitching freebies from that. And she did give some alphabets if you want to change some of the elements to names or what have you. And so there we go. Pinkernpunkin. She's really, I love her house. I wish I could decorate my house like that, but my husband hates what he calls clutter. I guess that stresses him out, so he doesn't come in here. He's very OCD about things. So that kind of decorating, he looks at it, he goes, oh yeah, that's nice, and I can tell he's thinking, do not do that to this house. So anyway, so that's this week. And then I kind of pulled out a couple of other things that I would like to finish during the Lenten season, and this is Rejoice. It's by Plum Street Samplers. It's a freebie on their blog. It says, Rejoice, Rejoice, O Christian. So I thought that was a good Easter one. It is from the hymn, Rejoice, Rejoice, O Christian, lift up your voice and sing eternal hallelujahs to Jesus Christ the King. So I thought that was a good one. And then this is Italian. If it were French, I could do it. Croqueta a go-go. It is a spring house, but I think Pinkernpunkin might have put their house. And I do it. Then here is the two from Snowflower Diaries. There's tulips with bunny and tulips with chick. They're beautiful. I love them. Even though my kids are older and we don't really do, we never did the Easter Bunny, didn't do Santa Claus, stuff like that. So, but we still talked about the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus just so they would know what their friends were discussing at school. And then if you have not joined Hello with Liz Matthews, Hello from Liz Matthews, you need to, because this is her freebie on her newsletter. And I love it. I think I might stitch it in white on that pink fabric that I dyed if it's big enough. It's so pretty. So those are what my hopefully my plans are for Lent weekend stitches. If you have not seen Tranquil Stitches framing tutorial, I believe she did it 2 days ago. It is beautiful, and she has given me some really great ideas of what I want to do with my Pinkernpunkin chicken pieces, because I as much as I like just the flat, you know, cardstock frame things, I don't have a lot of table space. A lot of my table space is filled with family photos, you know, my grandparents, my husband's grandparents, my parents, his parents, you know, and like I said, my husband doesn't like clutter, so extra things like that would just not go well. And but he doesn't mind me cluttering up the walls, which is really odd, but I have pictures all over the walls too. And so I thought about setting aside a little area where I can put frames for things of the holidays. And if I make them consistent in framing size, like if they're all 5x7s or maybe 1 or 2 8x10s, then I feel like I can switch those out as the seasons come, and you know, we'll both be happy. So I really liked the way she framed it. I thought it was beautiful. I thought her tips were fabulous. In fact, I ordered me a set of stainless steel pins so that I could do what she did to the top. But go check it out. I'm gonna link it below because I really thought it was interesting, and it was really thorough. She keeps saying I'm not a professional, you know, tutorial person, but I think she did a fabulous job. So go check that out. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna link it below. Now, here is my request for y'all. I, like I said, used to go antique shopping a lot. Not antique shopping, thrift shopping a lot when we lived in Tennessee. Their Goodwills were fabulous. And I picked up this little stack of mini bunt tins. There were 2 styles in them, and I picked them both up. And here's the price that I paid for the stack. 99 cents. And you can see why I was a fan of those Goodwills. My son's living in Tennessee now, and he's like, Mom, you should see this stuff here. I'm like, stop. I want to go, but I can't. Not yet. But anyway, I told my husband if we go visit him this weekend, we're going to McKay's, and we're going to a couple of Goodwills. So this is them right here. There's 2 styles. They're pretty much exactly the same. These, I have 2 of these. They're a little bit thicker. These are a little bit thinner aluminum than these are. But they're the same size. Pretty much the insides are both right at between 3.5 to 4 inches. So I want to make some little doodads for these. Pin cushions, maybe just some little round flats. So if you know of some patterns, they could be seasonal. Seasonal would be really fun, or they can just be whatever. And it'd be nice if maybe it was a pattern with several round things in there. That would be wonderful. But if you know of anything that I could stitch and put in here and make, like I said, little pin cushions or something, I would be eternally grateful, because I want to make some pin cushions. I want to make some, you know, with quilt fabric, and I want to make some with cross stitch. You know, I want to do all the things. But I have these and I need to use them, and I've had them for, we've been here almost 3 years, and I had them for a good 1.5 years before we moved. Just sitting in my sewing room waiting for me to do something. So if y'all think of something, let me know. I love them. Love them a lot. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about quilting. I mentioned last week that I was going to talk about my quilting, and I did not. And I was watching my video and I saw where I said, hey, I'm going to talk about quilting at the end of the video. And I was like, oh, I forgot to talk about quilting. So this week I'm going to talk about quilting. And this kind of went, these little tins, and this kind of goes into my What Did Rachel Find When Cleaning Out Her Sewing Room segment of this show. And one thing I found were these stacks of half square triangle papers. They are by Primitive Gatherings, and they fit on a charm square, which a charm square is 5 inches. And so I had bought a bunch of charm squares from Connecting Threads. Connecting Threads. Anyway, look at these, y'all. And I have a bunch of these done. And basically you stick your light and your dark together. You put your light on top. Make sure you're consistent in that. And then you sew around the right here. And then you cut along the line. So you sew along the dotted line and you cut along the solid line. So basically what I have to do is trim all these along this line and then cut. And then I end up with, these need to be ironed, little bitty half square triangles, and I don't have to fool with bias, nothing. Now when she when I started doing these, she was doing a program on her Facebook page where basically we were doing these and we bought the papers, and she was writing a book called Triangle Gatherings, I believe it is, and if I find it I'll link it below. And she gave us a new layout every week. And she told us how many to do and then gave us the new layout. And I thought I downloaded all of them, and when I went to look for them I only had like half. I don't know what happened. So I'm gonna make a just a traditional old-fashioned half square triangle quilt where they're all gone the same direction, but my goal is to get these done. I'm trying to sit in my sewing room for about 30 minutes a day and stitch on these. I haven't been doing that the past couple of days, but that's, I mean, it's what I'd like to do. I don't sit in my sewing room as often as I should, but it is what it is. I try my best. So hopefully I can get this done because I really like the fabric. It's very Civil War reproduction fabric, so it lends itself well to this that style of quilt. So I'm hoping to finish that. So anyway, so like I said, let me know below how you found me, how you got here, and if you got any tips. I'm gonna try to learn how to edit this week. I'm gonna take one of my older videos and mess around with editing it on my laptop. Usually I do everything on my iPad, and the iMovie I can't figure it out on the iPad. I've watched some YouTube videos and I still can't figure it out. So my son told me that it's easier on the computer than it is on the tablet. So I'm going to try that, mess around with that, and maybe I can give y'all some little better videos than I'm giving now. But anyway, thanks for joining me. I like having you here. I appreciate you being here. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.